In our top story tonight, Northwestern kicks off its first football game of the 2023 season this Sunday. But for the first time in nearly 30 years, former head coach Pat Fitzgerald will not be joining the team. Earlier this year, an investigation found a culture of racism, sexual abuse, and hazing within the Northwestern football program. Then this summer, groundbreaking work from student journalists at Northwestern's The Daily newspaper helped shed even more light on those allegations and Fitzgerald's involvement in them. Those articles then led to the coach's firing. One of those student journalists who brought to light one of the biggest sports scandals of the year is from right here in the Quad Cities. Tonight, News 8's Shelby Kluver sits down with Pleasant Valley grad Alice Brown to discuss her impact on sports and journalism's impact on the world. It highlights hometown hard work and determination tonight at 5.
I remember that one.
Good writing, and certainly good journalism, can be timeless.
Oh, nostalgia.
For former PV grad Alice Brown, a legacy of high school reporting has left behind a treasure trove of memories.
I still remember when these came in and everyone was so happy with them.
4 years ago, Alice joined the school's newspaper, the Spartan Shield.
We knew she had the chops back then.
Our journalism teacher, Maureen Dyer, quickly saw potential.
She's just really good at capturing emotion, which is great for her writing.
It's that writing that got Alice into Northwestern's prestigious journalism program. Then, the summer going into her junior year, a hazing investigation led to the suspension of head football coach Pat Fitzgerald.
I remember I wrote that piece and then I texted my editor-in-chief and I was like, I'm gonna look into this summer, it feels like something's off.
Within a few days, Alice and 3 other student journalists were publishing stories about the extent of the abuse and Fitzgerald's previously unreported involvement.
I would say we didn't realize until after it was done how big of a thing it was and that maybe we should have been more scared to do it. But in the moment, I think we were all just really pumped up on adrenaline and hoping to get it out as soon as possible.
Soon after, Pat Fitzgerald was fired.
I think Pat Fitzgerald being who he is was a large part of why this story was so shocking, just in the way that he's so beloved and such a staple and kind of such a face of Northwestern.
As compliments and kudos began pouring in, so did the criticism.
And we definitely heard on social media from a lot of, all the way from just fans to assistant coaches, very upset about how things had gone down. But I think for us, it was just standing on our reporting and knowing that it was true, and we didn't have any regrets about publishing it.
That's pretty cool.
But for all of her accomplishments, Alice remembers this room and the Spartan Shield as where everything began.
Just the specifics of journalism on a basic level, this is where I learned all of that. I'm just really grateful that I had the opportunity to work on a story like this, even though it is such an awful story, and just to think, I've thought a lot about my high school self as I reported it.
And back at her high school, the family tradition lives on.
What do you think of this one taking over?
It's crazy.
This year, Celia Brown is a Spartan Shield editor-in-chief, the same position held by big sister Alice.
It's just weird because I've seen her from the start with journalism, so to think that she's made it to this point is just crazy.
So while Alice looks to her future, she's also reflecting on the impact of these stories, both on the Northwestern community and on herself.
I just think there's nothing that journalism can't do, especially now, information travels so fast, and so if there's a story that needs to be told, it can get out there so quickly, and it just has the power to change so many things.
In Bettendorf, Shelby Kluver, WQAD News 8.
Now, less than 24 hours after Alice spoke with us, she jetted off to Europe for a semester abroad. Alice says she looks forward to continuing her work at Northwestern student newspaper once she gets back. You can also see her full interview with Shelby on our WQAD YouTube page.